Welcome back to the Real Estate Boss Show. I'm Dan Valley, your host, and I'm here with my good friend, Corey Troup.
Nice to see you again,
nice
Dan.
Doing good, my brother?
Always good to see you.
Nice seeing you, man. So Corey is with Experior Financial Group. And so first, I'd like to, for you to tell us a little bit about you and how long you've been here in Florida, and just give us a little background about yourself.
Well, that's a good question, Dan. So I've been back and forth in Florida because half my family is up in Maine. And so I was in elementary school, watched the first space shuttle launch out of Cocoa, and that was back in the early 80s. And been back and forth, and finally, just a few years back, I was homesick, and half my family's down here, all over Florida.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And so I told my wife, I said, I really want to get out of Maine and get back to Florida. We thought we were going to probably be up in like Titusville, Cocoa area, or even Gainesville, where I used to live as well. And but found Sebastian to be the magic sweet spot that we just fell in love with in the whole lagoon right here. And I have no intention of leaving that area.
Oh, yeah.
And the friends I've made here, I can't complain. And so my past, I'd run hardware stores and auto parts stores. I was president of business development of one company that had other companies in it. Mm-hmm. I was very fortunate in that. I was asked to do that, and I was in business development for a while. We were building on anything from the payroll to 401 Roths for employee packages and health insurance plans to OSHA mitigation. We had a whole gambit that we did, mm-hmm. and I kept on finding that the financial side for the client was the side that was where I really, just like all my best switches just turned on without even having to try.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I'm kind of weird when it comes to money numbers, because when I talk with the client with the numbers, I can actually see the numbers in the air.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's how much it is. It's kind of like some people when they talk with it, like a grammar, and they're when they're writing a story, they can see the words in the air and stuff like that. It's just a strong mental picture that I get.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how one of the reasons why I know that I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly.
And so I went through various different agencies and companies until and some very big ones, very, very big ones, until finally I found myself with the Experior Financial Group. And how I got into that was I was watching YouTube, and I said, you know what, I've always excelled at what I've done because I've sought out the absolute best in the industry to teach me. Mm-hmm. I was always humble enough to know that I don't know everything, but I can.
Yeah.
And the only way I'm going to do that is to get the great ones, the masters of the industry. And so I found this one guy, Raza Beg. The guy was one of the top performers in the country, and he and I now are just like best friends in the industry. And he took me under his arm and showed me things that I was unaware of, and really opened my mind up. And so now I'm in a position now where I'm doing start doing the same thing for others. Mm-hmm. And so within about 18 months, I intend on having about 100 financial advisors and agents, with me.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And so the journey is beautiful, because when you're in what you're supposed to be in, like we were talking earlier, yes. Mm-hmm. It's not really work. Yeah. I'm having fun all the time when I'm doing this, and if you enjoy people, and you like to teach, especially for myself, like with my clients, I like to teach them a whole new world of how they can grow their money. And I always tell them, I say, listen, by the time I get done with you with our first Zoom meeting, you're gonna come out with your mind expanded, and you can feel very empowered. Yeah. And that's how I know that I'm doing my job and everything. And so and of course my clients become my friends. Because you get to know so much about them, and they get to know so much about you. Mm-hmm. And so that's another beautiful residue of our business, much like you in realty. Your clients become your friends.
Absolutely.
Because they become endeared to you and you care about them.
Exactly. It's like a long-term relationship with them, too. It's not just like, hey, I'm getting a client here, and I'm going to quickly move on to the next person. You're building relationships with these folks as well.
That's right. It's exactly right. And then a lot of times your clients are in another industry that becomes a service they render to you. So it's
huge referral.
Yeah. You really, they might say, oh, I need to do I need a tile job for someone in my family. I need someone to put that in. Well, you just help them out, and so they do the tile and everything for it. And so everyone's helping everybody at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I just happen to be in the industry that I'm in. You're in the industry that you're in. Our clients are all in different industries.
That's correct.
And so it's all symbiotic, and that's one of the beauties of our work.
Yeah.
And so I'll just shut up and let you ask another question.
No. First of all, guys, I gotta let you know his personality is exactly that. Like this is no joke. He's not creating a personality here. He's like this all the time. He is totally fun. He's a great guy. I'm so happy you're here today, man.
Play off each other all day long.
Man, this is so awesome, man. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, and we may veer off the questions, obviously, because our personality types, we just have a
life
blast,
is good
right?
if you allow it to be.
Exactly, that's it. So can you provide an overview of Experior Financial Group and the services that you offer to your clients?
Absolutely. So that's a great question. So Experior, it was founded in 2014 in Canada, and you never see many companies. You don't see very many companies coming out of Canada and expand bigly into America.
Our realtors, by the way.
But they did. They had a great business model, and it did so well because it's a very unique model that it's exploding here in the Americas. And in fact, sometime at the end of this year, we should be breaking into Latin America, and then next year, the Philippines. I want to tap into I want to help out a lot of expats in Latin America and the Caribbean, and also in the Philippines as well myself. The CEO, Jamie Prickett, really nice guy, very much like us, just down to earth and good value system. He put in a core value system into the company early on, and there's a lot of it. It's all based on: do you like to teach people? Do you like to help people? Do you like to do charity work? Because in our business, you can make good money, but you can't take from society if you're not giving to it generously. Yeah. And I 100% believe in that law, and it's and doing right by people. Now, you're not going to get referrals anyways if you burn bridges. Yeah, it's just never going to happen.
I totally agree. Yep.
And it's an opposite effect. And so in our business, we have to be, forthright, have fun, but the same token, deliver services that our competitors might not have. And that was something I learned when I was running hardware stores years back. The CEO of the company, I got along with really well in that, and as I was doing a lot of troubleshooting for stores. And in the very beginning, he goes, Corey, you don't sell anything here in any one of my stores that any of your competitors don't have. So I want you to tell me right now what can possibly give you the edge over all your competitors. Some of them are bigger. And I said, well, customer service. And that's the same in all of our industries. Yeah. Customer service is the only thing that makes you actually better. Yeah. And so I had, taken a lot of what I learned in those years and have brought that into my business. And so what I did, I go, well, how can I make myself more available and deliver a better service? So, like, for example, not all your clients are going to be daytime. You have some clients with businesses, they might be nocturnal, might be a different area code, another time zone. And so I licensed myself out pretty much across the country. Yeah. Because a lot of referrals don't all live in the same state as your client.
You're pulling them in from outside, yeah.
Yeah, so I learned that real quick. And then, so if I have a client that's available at 2 a.m., I don't know a lot of folks that do this, but I do this. And so I'll say, no problem. If that works for you, then it's going to work for me. As long as it's not another client's time block, it works. And so I'll do a cat nap at 5, 6 o'clock at night. I'm willing to do that. To be up at 2:30 a.m., bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, do a Zoom meeting with them, and make myself available to them. And my clients can always text me or email me at any time. Doesn't mean I'm going to answer them immediately, but they know I'm going to be really
you're going to reach out back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the other thing too is I look at it as even like my local clients being down in Sebastian. So I want my clients to not have a burning eyes of anger from the sitting at the table when they see me because I lost them a bunch of money. Yeah. Right. And so that's why I don't write the type of plans where you can lose money. Mine's all insured. And so I want them to be able to look at me when I come walking, in a tiki bar, or if they're there or wherever, supermarket, wherever, and say, Corey, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, and they're still good friends, you know, because they're happy with what I built them.
Exactly.
And so I want that to always be the rule of thumb.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons. So in Experior, they brought three facets into them.
Okay.
And so they're a tribrid.
Tribrid.
Yes. And so what they did is they took the best of your captive agencies in the insurance side. Then they married it with the brokerages. All right, so now you can see that mergering.
Yep.
And then they took the best of your social networking organizations.
Okay. Yep.
And it made a strong tribrid. And so you have an arsenal if you're an advisor and an agent with them. The training is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
The people are great because they all have to have the same value system.
Yeah.
And because of that, so we have insurance,
mm-hmm.
we have your investments,
mm-hmm.
and then of course social organizational networking and everything with the groups that we work with on that really help you get the word out so that you can reach folks that might need your service.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of folks that don't know where to start.
Exactly.
We have clients that just don't know where to begin. It's a new thing to them.
Yep.
And so if you can make yourself available to them, obviously you're going to be able to help them sooner. And also they are one of the neat things with this company is that you reach executive director within the agency, mm-hmm. and it takes a little time. You can do it in about a year if you really want to.
Yeah.
And you get stock shares.
Oh,
2,000 stock shares, and this company's growing. Why wouldn't you want that, right?
Exactly.
And it's only going to last for another year or so, right?
Uh-huh.
And so all the executive directors, they're all saying, get in now.
Get in now, yeah.
Right? Because when this thing pops, because it's growing so fast. So this is a lot of good things with the company, but the people more than anything, and the arsenal that we have to work with, we're so flexible. And then, of course, we have other groups, entities that we deal with that act as kind of like a back, behind the line support. So no matter how good you are, I don't care how good you are in investments or insurance or anything like that, there's always going to be something you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
We never stop learning.
Exactly.
And so we have these entities that are phenomenal. You can just call them up and they hey, I got this question. I got an idea that I want to do. Is this possible? Right?
Yeah.
Because I really want to make this work for the client because these are great people. And they work right through the whole thing. Yep, you can do it. And now we just made this creation that works.
Exactly.
May never have done before, right? That pattern or compilation. But so in a nutshell, that's Experior Financial Group and really, really great company. And so I'm looking for people to jump on.
If you want, he's your guy to call. That's for sure. So let me ask you a question, because there's other companies that are similar. I don't want to say the names on here, but like the Big P.
Absolutely.
So like, what would you say sets Experior apart from like that company, for example?
Yeah, a lot of them are going to be. A lot of these are going to be very captive. Yeah. And with us, you're not 100% captive. But the big thing is it's always going to be culture. It's always going to be culture. It's going to be value system. Yep. And I'm never going to attack another company or agency out there. That's not my place. But the big thing is the people. It's not you go into a lot of these big ones and you got a lot of it is very kind of suit and tie.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
You can see this guy's not a suit and tie guy.
This is as dressed as I get.
He's all brains. He's good. He's good. He's a real deal. He's the real deal.
Yeah, but there's it's our atmosphere. Yeah. And so I was with other outfits before, and it was very, like I said, kind of stuffy. Yeah,
the suit and tie.
Suit and tie. I'm not that, and if you are that type of person, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. There are people that's what they
want. They pull towards those people.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not me. Yeah. And you'll notice that a lot of folks, some of the very high performing advisors and agents, we're talking top 1%ers. Yeah. These folks, and they'll be in a Zoom meeting with their client. They're wearing a ball cap and a sweatshirt. Yeah. Because with us, it's about you want your client to feel comfortable when you do a Zoom meeting or you meet with them. Yeah. You don't want them to feel, like we were talking earlier, we don't want them to feel intimidated, feel like they have to be someone they're not just to keep up with how you're dressed, how you bring yourself.
That's right.
Everything's really all about, they're looking for what's in here from
exactly.
What can you do for them? Yeah. And the sooner
not the appearance of like, hey, I'm going to wear a suit. trying to show up and be somebody that person is not.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. Just you be you, and be the sunrise, be the good news for your client.
Yeah,
at all times.
I like how you say that, because look, in the real estate world, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You see these people that jump into real estate and they go out, they get a suit, they get a tie, and that.
I did that in the very beginning.
I did that too.
I hated it.
We're all guilty of it.
Hated it.
And in Florida, man, we're sweating.
Yes.
For you guys up north, I mean, it might be like, hey, I'm going to stay warm by having a tie, grabbing my neck here. But out here in South Florida, I mean, and Central Florida where we are now, this is how we dress.
That's true.
And there's another thing too. You don't want to be overdressing to the person you're with, because it might make them feel uncomfortable as well.
They might have just got done a long day of work.
Yeah. Exactly.
And a long day of work, and the last thing they want to do is come home and have to dress up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
They want to crack open a cold one or a glass of wine and chill out, chillax in their house, and not have to clean everything. I tell them, I said, don't clean it, just be you. It's people.
Exactly.
It's called living.
It's called living. And we're in a people business.
Yeah.
So dressing normal, like them, makes you feel like you're a friend to them as well, like an advisor, but also a friend.
And you know what? And you got to build the relationship as because you're the same way. I cost nothing for my clients.
Yeah.
The financial institutions are the ones that pay me. So I cost nothing. I tell them that. I'm not going to charge you $500 or $1,000 to sit down with me to come up with a plan for you.
Yeah.
All I ask you is send me a referral and keep sending them to me for the rest of your life, right? If you like what I build you.
That's right.
But I will take, like yourself, I will do a dozen meetings at an hour a piece or more, whatever it takes to get the plan just right, exactly how you want it.
Yeah.
And because every client is a brand new painting.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's different.
Everyone's different.
And they're really, if you're really doing your job, and there's no two alike.
Yeah. Exactly.
If you're doing your job.
Yeah.
And so just the client be comfortable and enjoy the ride, because it should be fun for not only you, but it should be fun for the client as well.
Be fun for them.
Yeah.
So on the topic of that, of being fun with the client, can you give us maybe a couple of examples, like a testimonial, like, hey, this person came to me, they had nothing, and now they got this much?
Well, there's a recent one, and really, really nice people, nice couple, and now I wasn't at a place where I was looking for business or anything like that. We were just talking and just became friends.
Yeah.
And then and all of a sudden they're the ones I think that mentioned investments. And then I said, well, that's exactly what I do. And it was just kind of uncannily fell into place. Always is.
Exactly.
And it always starts off with, well, what can you do with $10,000? And then and it always starts like that for some reason. They say, what can you do? Can you make $30,000 grow and stuff? And they're kind of checking to see what you know. And then after that, you show them what you can do with that. And they say, well, I got $165,000 or or $200,000 or $500,000 or I got $1.2 million. That this is what I'm looking to do with it and everything. And you're like, you know what? With what I do, the more you have, actually, the faster we can make it do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Because every dollar is a construction worker, and you're trying to build this tower for retirement. And the more construction workers you have that you can pour into that, the faster it builds the tower.
Exactly.
And it's especially nice when it's insured against all market losses.
I like that.
That's what I do.
I love that.
Right? And that's where my whole
safe investments.
Yes. I can write things that are not safe.
Right.
I will not.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that was what I was explaining to them. I said, listen, because I had taken some losses.
Yeah.
As everyone knows, every 6 to 8 years, there's a market crash. And it's kind of like earthquakes. You go over that 8-year period, when that fault line hasn't done it yet, the longer the time, the bigger the crash. It always does come back up.
Yep.
There's a gravity effect to it.
Correct.
And it's a bouncing ball. And so with the stuff that as I explained to him, I said, listen, just imagine your money, wherever you're accumulating with what I make you, the floor is zero when the market tanks.
Yeah. And
so all your accumulation is assured and safe right there. Now, when the market goes all the way up, does a 100% jump or something, like say if you bought stock in a company and they have this unusual event where they happen to have a 200% gain, you're not going to get that with me. We're going to have a cap.
Yeah.
But you can have some seriously nice gains depending on what we build for you, whatever is right for you.
Exactly.
And so you could have a 20, 30% gain. You can have a 10% or an 8% gain or whatever. But there's an old, our CEO always said, he goes, you can't fall off the floor. So if the market tanks and you flatline, because you're insured there, you can't fall off the floor. There's nothing lower than that.
So at least you got that to cover.
Right.
You know what
You're not looking at 1 year from retirement like a lot of folks did in 2007, 2008 Fannie Mae housing collapse right there, right?
Horrible,
the mortgage
time.
collapse.
Horrible time.
There were people that they lost 90% of their money, 80% of their money, and they had 1 year until retirement.
Yeah.
And they didn't have enough gas in their tank for years to rebuild that.
No. Exactly.
And that's one of the reasons why I will not write anything, build any plans that allow for that, because I cannot look a person who's become my friend in particular in the eyes and tell them that just happened. I cannot do it.
Exactly.
In my heart, I can't do it.
Exactly.
If you can, you're a lot braver than I can. And there's a lot of folks out there that are
you'll find
brave.
them out there. No,
you know,
no,
I can't.
Yeah.
I don't have the right stuff for that. But so when the market tanks, you're there. But it's cool. We're based on index. So when the market indexes up, even from way down here, all it has to do is index up, and you start indexing up.
So automatically it goes up.
Yeah, and that's why our stuff has outperformed the rest of the market decades. I mean, you have some years where the market will go past it, but that's when you're having that big jump.
Yeah.
Right? But you're still indexing up.
You're still indexing up. Yeah.
Right. And so, and what's cool is with this type of stuff, this is interesting because this is also why a lot of you are very wealthy. I mean, I'm talking people with real money. Have money into this. And this stuff's been around for decades. What happens is they put money into this because it's immune to all probate. Divorces, courts, things like that. So you can keep your money safe for your kids, for the next generation.
That's right.
And, we do a lot of that, do a lot of $1 million babies and stuff. So say you've got a person that's got some money and they want to do a big I love you present to their grandkids. It can be a kid that's still in the womb.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Really?
Right. And so you build that, that child is just born.
Yeah.
Boom, they're on the plan. And the money goes into this every year, right? Or every month. And then by the time they don't even have to even know about this yet.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Then they retire. So whatever they built in their life, all of a sudden they get this great big windfall. They get million or several millions of dollars.
That's incredible.
Right, already waiting for them upon retirement on top of whatever they did in life. They didn't even know this was coming.
They didn't even know that was coming.
And that's tax free.
Wow, man, that's awesome.
And so it's pretty. It's a neat. It's a really neat business and a niche that I'm in, and it's just one of the many things Experior Financial Group offers. But the big thing is you can find this stuff with other agencies and stuff. But for us, it's the culture. It's the culture, and we like to have fun, and really build I'd rather have a client that's a client for 35 years.
Yeah, long term.
You know what I mean? Because for 35 years, I get the joy of having that friend, and also I get the joy of from doing right by them for the whole time. They're sending me referrals. And you know what? I'm probably sending them referrals in their business too.
That's beautiful. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it all works. It's all intertwined.
It all works. It all goes back. Absolutely.
And that's why the folks, when they sell and forget, they get a product to their client, and then they don't talk to them ever again, and they forget. Well, they're probably not going to get any more referrals from them, and it's not the way we like to do it.
Unfortunately, a lot of realtors are guilty of that, and those of you watching, and you know who you are. Like, get in the habit of following up with those people afterwards. Reach back out to them. And same thing, you could be referring Corey people, right? You talk to them and you find out, hey, they're not looking to buy or sell a home right now, but they're looking to invest maybe $100 or $200 a month.
Sure.
And now they started that investment, and before you know it, they're retired and they got all this extra money.
And you can't retire. You can't have a retirement plan until you start it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You so many folks, they say, oh yeah, I haven't done it yet and everything. And it's like, and you talk to them, but you're 28 years old. The younger you are when you start it, the better.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's just $100 a month just to get going.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The bare minimum. at least it's something.
Yeah.
And then you can, because with our stuff, you do like IRAs and Roths stuff like that. You got $6,000 a year maximum you can put into it.
Ah, okay.
All right. And those were actually, like 401ks was actually originally designed for the very wealthy decades ago.
Ah.
And they could put a lot more into it.
Yeah.
And but the tax man had to get money from one group.
Yeah. So
right.
Figure, let's hit that.
Yeah. And so then shortly, and so that's why like what I deal with is like your hybrids and your indexed annuities and IULs and things like that. Everything's insured. It's just it's a peace of mind for me too.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be laying around at night with a ball of nerves, seeing the market collapse and going,
like,
who do I have
clients,
to? Because I don't care how good you are, moving money around. You're imperfect.
Yeah.
And that's why you had so many people lose money in those different crashes. And
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people that have never lost money, and my hat's off to you, seriously. But I'm just not the person that wants to have to even deal with that type of stuff.
Exactly.
And so they're so when they get started when they're young, that's a major thing. Because another thing too is, we insure our health, we insure our car, we insure our house, right? We insure all kinds of things in life. And so one of my big things I always tell people is like, well, why the heck wouldn't you insure your retirement?
Yeah, that's the biggest
from losses.
That's the biggest thing you need to have.
Right. You insure your mortgage insurance, I mean, all these different things, and we put those things in to protect us. And it's always the craziest thing where the one thing that you didn't. We all know people that like back before it was all on the internet and everything, like auto insurance, right? We all have known someone that they took insurance off the vehicle while they're at one agency, and they were en route to drive across town to put insurance on their vehicle at this other agency, and they got in a car accident in between on that day. Yeah, we all remember hearing stuff like that back in like the 80s, and early 90s, and it's just because that's Murphy's Law, right? Unfortunately, it's Murphy's Law. So please don't want that.
Don't get close to my car.
I want bumpers all around
bumpers all in the car here.
Safety room. So and that's how it is, right? So protect your investment, your retirement. And I'm not saying put all your money into what I built, but put what you're not willing to lose.
There you go. I like that.
That's how I'm not. It's. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a person buying up some chunk of gold, some silver, and some, putting their money in the stock market. If they got money they're willing to play with, and they got a great advisor that can do that. That's fantastic. But what you're not willing to lose, that's where I step in. And we can still grow it. Yeah. And
it's a safe way.
Oh yeah.
Very safe way. Yeah.
And people will be very amazed on how much this stuff grows over time too.
Oh yeah.
It really does. And these financial institutions that we work with, they're all A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau nationally.
Very nice.
And that gives them like a 0.03% unsatisfaction rating.
Wow.
So that's 0.03%. Yeah. You go into Better Business Bureau and you see like one of these carriers, and it's got 35 complaints. Yeah. Well, the only ones that you're never gonna see any positive comments on the Better Business Bureau report ever, right?
Exactly.
But if you got 35 complaints for the year on a carrier that's got 3 million clients, right? And they got 35 complaints, right? Yeah. That's a massive success rate, right?
Exactly.
Massively successful. And then on top of that, all these carriers are A to A+ rated in Moody's and Standard & Poor and all those ratings right there. None of them have ever had a bankruptcy.
Ah, there you go.
All right, because they don't get bailed out. Yeah. But therefore they run a little different because of that. And some of these carriers are between 150 and 175 years old and have never had a bankruptcy.
Had a problem at all.
Right. And because there's less cowboyism. Yeah. As far as where they put their money. Yeah, exactly. Because they have to be. And they honestly kind of run things the way you and I run our money. It's we'll invest, but we want to make sure we invest in something that we know
is going to be very safe.
That's right.
It's not going to go out crazy. Yeah.
That's right, because you can't lose everything too many times in life.
Yeah.
And the older you get, the window grows short.
It's very, very short.
Because when you look at retirement in life, from age 30 to say 65, you have 30 years to build enough money. Here's the kicker, because a lot of folks when they're 30 don't. So if you're 30 years old or under, listen to this.
Do not exit this video right now.
Right. That's right. So you're going to work for 30 years to be able to fund a more comfortable lifestyle for the next 30 to 35 years. So picture you're working these 30 years, say 30 to 65, 30, right around that time period.
Yep.
And when you retire, do you ever picture retiring and living on less money than what you worked your last year until retirement?
Exactly. You want to have more.
That's right.
Not less.
That's right. We're not working to not play.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, I'm a playful person. You're a playful person. We're fun. We like to have fun and stuff. And I do not foresee not doing a lot of fishing and going down to the tiki bar and yupping it up with the friends and just enjoying life.
Exactly.
And I don't need to live life lavishly, but I don't want to be pinching pennies.
Yeah. Especially
when you get after 65, our health goes like this.
It starts declining. Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we have money that also can handle that. And extra services that go along with that. And a lot of our stuff and our retirement things also that we build also have that all fixed in. Mm-hmm. And so like basically if you were to become disabled, your annual income payment would actually be double. And so if you got yourself a 6-figure coming in on retirement because you really were on the ball and packing money away, you could act, if something, heaven forbid, happens, you become disabled, can't perform, 2 out of the 6 basic things in a day, that would double it. And
it would double the amount.
Double the amount.
Wow.
And that's a big, without penalizing you. So that's a big thing right there. And that's one of the reasons why I like what we do is I feel very confident, when I was doing hardware stores in the past, or even auto parts stores, that the products that I didn't believe in, no matter how much the folks at the top wanted me to move them, I just didn't because I didn't believe in them because I was putting my name on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the CEO, their name's not on that product. The name is on the person that sold it to them.
Yeah.
Right? And so, but the products I did believe in, I couldn't stop selling this stuff, because I knew what it could do. Yeah. I believe in it because, and generally I used it myself. And that's a big, it's a big attestment right there. And so, if you believe it in yourself and you know what it can do, you feel very comfortable helping clients into that very same item right there.
Exactly. No, that makes totally sense. That makes sense 100%.
And I'll tell you, and for realty, for a real estate agent or any agents, I want you to think of this. Think about a real estate agent that with his personality. How easy would it be? Truly, how much easier would it be in life if you had someone with his personality? I mean, down to earth, easygoing, fun, easy smile. You walk into this agency right here, and then the vibes are so nice. I tell you what, it was raining. It was raining the whole way from Sebastian to here for 45 minutes. Pouring rain. I had my 4-wheel drive on, and fog lights are on. So I'm like, it's awful dark out, and it's only noontime, and so I get here, and this very nearly almost happened factually, right? I got here to the parking lot, the skies opened up, the sun came out, there's a big rainbow, and the angels are going up and down these ladders and stuff. I was so happy.
Gotta have the umbrella open.
Yeah, it was right there, and I swear that happened almost nearly completely, possibly, right?
You're awesome, man.
But it is. You get here, and the vibes are so nice. I'm like, this is so nice here.
That is so awesome, man.
I didn't even feel like I had to take my cowboy hat off.
No, man, you're good, man. You feel right at home here.
Yeah.
You fit right in. He's such a good guy, guys. I'm telling you. What would you say? I would say, okay, what would be the ideal client, and what would be the process for them to get started with you?
Sure. Yeah. Literally, all they'd have to do, you can find me on Facebook. This is Corey Troup, Coreytroup. You'll see me with a cowboy hat. And like I said, I don't change really. I mean, it's just how I am is what you get. And they can call me on my phone number, 772-205-8803. Or you can email me at ctroupfinancial, C-T-R-O-U-P, financial, at gmail.com. And I will get to you. I will get to you. And so it's very easy to reach me. Any hour I can make available in the 24-hour period, And on top of that, 7 days a week, because I do understand that some people, and I have, there are some people that are just working so hard during the week, they're out of gas when they get home. We've all been there.
Yeah.
When I got to the end of my tether running all the stores and stuff years back, anything that made me do anything other than stop at the store to buy the 6-pack, right, and go anywhere outside of that straight home.
Yeah. There.
It was like I was irritated.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go home. I was so out of gas, just solving all these problems, and it was just did so many years of it. And so some people are just out of gas when they get home, and so on the weekend they're more rested. And I would rather talk to a client when they're
fully rested.
Yeah.
And not only that, you're dealing with one of their biggest financial situation. Like there's two things. You got homes is one of their biggest financial tools.
That's right.
And then building their wealth.
Yeah.
Through the investments like you do.
Right.
Those are the two biggest things. And you want to deal with them when their mind is calm.
Right. I want them to be calm. And I do 90% of my work is through Zoom. Just because I want them to be comfortable. I want the clients to be comfortable in their own home. Don't clean it all up for me. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care. You think my house is immaculate all the time? My wife and I try to keep it immaculate, but it just doesn't happen. I got 2 dogs. All right. Just got done raining. They went through the puppy prints all over all the couches and the floor. And we just vacuumed 5 minutes ago. Yeah. Oh, little Dixie, she just got a palm frond and she's chewing it into a million pieces on the floor too. And her face is covered in mud. Oh, aren't you glad we just vacuumed and cleaned everything for the day? I know I am. So,
let me pan the camera up a little bit.
It's true. So I don't care. The place isn't. I mean, you just got done working all week. You don't have
exactly.
You have X amount of gas in your tank of hours for the week.
Exactly.
Don't worry about it. I'll have my presentations and stuff for whatever needs you have and everything. So don't worry about it. It's people and it's living. We're all just real people.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to keep it that way. And nothing irritates me more than arrogance and stuffiness. Yeah. Condescension.
Exactly.
Those things right there. I don't care who you are. I'm just gonna kind of ease my way around because I'm not getting I don't have room in that in my life.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to have that negativity when you got plenty of good clients to work with.
Yeah. There's a million great clients out there, and with great, and that's another thing too is you get to hear some of their stories of life. Yeah. And it's just. People are beautiful. Yeah. Everyone is different. Everyone does have their own story. We're all very unique. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of this business. Yeah. And you know it too, because in real estate, it's the exact same thing. You never know. The next client is the next wonderful piece of artwork that you get to enjoy and the privilege to know, because every client's a new privilege.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
New friend.
100%. Yeah.
And so I mean, as far as like testimonials and everything, they're all very similar. Where the biggest thing is very seldom they realize just what we can do with their money. Yeah. And how fast it doesn't take long. Give us 10 or 15 years, mm-hmm. and you'd be shocked on what we can do, and to know that you're not going to take losses. Yeah. That is. Oh shoot, didn't make hardly any money on this accumulation. Sure, made good money in the last 4 years, but didn't make any money on this. And I said, just remember, how would you feel if you had taken a losses like your peers just did?
Like that.
Yeah. And I said, that's the strength of this. Yeah. That is the strength. Yeah. And, and they go, yep, you know what, Corey, you're absolutely right on that right there. So I said, the hero is zero.
Exactly. Yeah.
In that moment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, it's always better a safe investment mm-hmm. on something that moves slowly.
Right. Just
like in the housing. Guys, you got to remember during the market, before the market crash in 2007, man, the values were going up through the ceiling. Yeah. And I mean, we used to have this loan that we used to do called the option arm. And it was a 4-payment option. They would pay a minimum payment like a credit card. And then they would have a 30-year principal and interest payment. They have a 30-year interest only or a 15-year principal and interest payment. Wow. Everybody opted for the minimum payment. So they would get a home for like a loan for $500,000. Their monthly payment would be around $1,200. And they're like, hey, this is great. And what happened back then is that the market was going up so fast. And as the market was going up, well, that loan, because you're doing negative AM, that was going up. but there was a clause in there that would say that, hey, if the value ever hit 110%, that first option goes bye-bye.
Oh.
And that's what happened.
This is why you want this guy. Because you're not going to get this with so many real estate. The nuances.
The nuances.
It's the nuances is everything. In my industry, in your industry, it's the nuances.
It's the nuances, you know?
Yeah.
So like in your case, you're able to identify, hey, here's the deal. Your investment's not going to go like this, but here's what's going to happen. Your investment is going to go up nice and slow, and it's going to be safe. Yeah. You're not going to have that. You have a floor, so it's not going to drop under.
And I will say, we do. So our stuff does have jumps where you can have 20, 30, sometimes 40, 50% on index, right?
But it's still safe.
That's the key right there. If it's like 40%, then you know the market probably did an 80%, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the difference of that ensures from when the losses are.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you're 100% right. And the nuances of what he's telling you is exactly what makes an agent valuable. Yeah. Because it like for an example, like I can roll 401s, Roths, IRA, any of that's IRAs, 401As, 403Bs, 457s, pensions, straight money, any of that type of stuff, and you don't take a penalty when you roll them into what I build because it's also qualified. Exactly. There's a qualified, this is also qualified, so you don't take a tax hit or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
And so that's another peace of mind. Some of the carriers even, they'll because they're always fighting for people's money. And so how do you fight for people's money? Well, you reward them with money. Exactly. And so some of the carriers, like there's a gentleman that I'm talking with right now, and he lost about 20% of his. He had over $1 million in 401, and he lost 20% on that. And so, nice doctor, he's a doctor. Yeah. And I told him, I said, you only got a couple of years left till retirement. And he goes, yeah. And I told him, I said, I got carriers that will give you 20% cash value bonus when you put the money in.
Right now.
Right. And he goes, you serious? I said, yeah. It's easy.
It's a no-brainer.
It's easy.
Let's do it right now. Yeah.
And or other ones that will do, there's other, and they're always running these different, things to get an edge on the other carriers. Yeah. And so some of them will say, well, we'll give you an index multiplier of 5% each year, and by the 10th year, it's 50% multiplied against the index, right? So if the index goes up 10% times 50%. Right? Yeah. That's a lot of money, but that's the way they thank you for doing business with them. They put some of theirs right in with it. You've got others, you've got all kinds of different, there's all kinds of different things that we work with. And what we do is we find the right one for the client. Yeah. What they're trying to accomplish.
So it's really tailored to your individual client.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no two alike. And, like you were saying, when you have all these different carriers and, what we can do with their money. It's fun to show the client because they don't know. How are they going to know this stuff? Unless you're in the industry, you're just not going to know.
They're not going to know.
So when you have a question to us, there's no dumb question. Yeah. Ask them, please. But I will definitely, just like you do, we pull the info out of it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because we already know the general direction of what we got to pull out.
Yep, exactly.
To start building stuff. But then we know that you're going to ask other questions. And I got clients that will call up, say, hey, what about this and this and this? Yeah, no problem. And so, and I'll get them the answers of, oh, okay, no problem. I have no problem, answering long after we've written stuff for them.
Exactly.
And I don't care because we're all friends, by then. And, and there's the things that we can do, like we do DST program for real estate agents and everything, to defer against capital gains.
Exactly. Yeah.
We do. There's other ones where like with IULs, Index Universal Life policies, where that becomes tax free on retirement because you're taking money that's already paid its taxes and putting it into it as you've earned it. You put it into it, and then it grows with the index, and it's also insured.
Exactly. And
with those, really neat because those ones right there, if you have someone that's got some real serious money, like say they got $1 million, right? And they're like 35, they got a really high paying job. Yeah. They're top of the game in their industry. You can take a person right there that's willing to put $1 million into it, right? And the bank, you can go to a bank, and the bank knows exactly how these things perform. And they'll say, you know what, we'll put 10. If you're going to do 1 million, we're going to put 10.
Yeah.
And by the time this thing matures, we're going to take our piece. But this guy's IUL, his cash value, built with a power of 11 million instead of 1 million.
Yeah.
So he's going to come out so far ahead, it's ridiculous. Now, they're going to tell him, don't be jumping out of planes in a parachute. Right?
Yeah.
You got to be healthy.
Yeah.
Right? Don't go wrestling alligators and putting yourself in any of those type of things, right? Yeah. Because they want you to be nice and healthy, so this thing doesn't stop.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, and his family will be very thankful that he didn't take a bunch of dumb chances too,
exactly.
right? Because when this thing matures, he's going to have a pile of this income coming in upon retirement. And so there's a lot of cool stuff that we were able to do, and that was a lot of fun, and it's fun. Seeing their faces light up when they realize what you can do.
Exactly.
You know, because they go, I had no idea this. I said, and I said, now that you know, you are now empowered.
That's
and I always tell folks, I said, listen, if you want to build this, you don't have to put all your money into it. Right. Just put what you're not willing to lose.
Exactly. Put what you're not willing to lose. Go safely. Put some in. But as they trust you and they see what you're doing for them, I'm sure they're starting to.
Yes. Yeah, and some of those things they can come in later on and put extra into it.
Put more money into it. Yeah.
But it generally turns out, hey, what can you do? Can you grow 10,000 or 30,000, and then all of a sudden it becomes, the real dollar amount that they had in their mind comes out, and it's always much more than that.
Exactly.
And but that's how they are doing their due diligence to search you out.
That's right.
So so I understand that. But yeah, it is a fun industry. I love it. It's not even work for me. I'll be working on clients where I'll wake up at 1 a.m. and with this, I'll literally have dreamt the idea, because I dreamed my work, and dreamt it, and I go, oh, I got to go onto the computers. And so I'll go into my office at my house, right? And I get my monitor on, and I start working on it. My wife goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I got this idea, and I have to work on it because if I write it down, it won't be as good.
No.
Because the next day, my passion will be different on it.
Yeah.
And so I go right on it, and I'll build it for an hour and a half, 2 hours, right?
That's all.
And they go, oh, this is perfect right here. This is so beautiful right here. Why couldn't I come up with this when I was consciously awake, right? And, but I was in that, the abstract dream world where everything is cool, And so then I called the customer the next day. Listen, John, this is awesome. Let me email this over to you. And he goes, wow, this is great, and it was great. Well, let's tweak it now.
Yeah.
And so it's just, as you can tell, I really enjoy what I do.
He really does.
He enjoys what he does, and it pours out of his face. Because if it pours out of your agent's face, you know you're in the right spot.
You know you're in the right place. If you got the passion, and at the end of the day, it's about helping the consumer.
Oh.
And like you said, the referral base that we get from that. You help somebody, and then next thing you know, they refer you their brother, their sister, their friends.
Right.
Just like you, same thing. It's the same exact environment. They start introducing to other people that because they see what you're able to do for them, and they go, man, I got to call Corey, or I got to call Dan. I got to reach out to them because I want X, Y, Z to happen to me too, just like it happened to them.
And isn't it true that this is aside from you make good money in these industries and everything if you're doing it right, because you're getting your referrals. The other is we all joke in our industry. It's like this is the best thing that I could ever be in. I make good money at it, and I get to help people all day long.
That's right.
And it's something that makes a big difference in their life.
Yeah.
What you do makes a big difference in that family's life.
Yeah.
And that gives you such a feeling of satisfaction.
It does.
Because and that's the other half of it.
Yeah.
That really is the other half of it. It's not the money.
No, it's not the money. The money will always come.
It just happens to be a part of it.
It's a part.
It's a residual.
It's a residual for doing what we do.
But having that sense of purpose.
Yeah.
A purpose that you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. You're in the right industry, and you're helping out all these people, and it's just. It's just amazing. I can't even describe it. Yeah, exactly. I cannot describe it.
You guys see the joy in his face? That's exactly. So nice. He's the real deal, man. This was awesome, man. I'm so glad you came out here today, man. This was cool.
You got to come down to his office right here, down at Zoom Realty, right here in Melbourne.
Yep.
It's right on Interlaken Road. Which, when he was first telling me where it was,
this is funny.
When he was first telling me where it was, I'm thinking Interlaken, Florida, right? I didn't hear the road part. And, oh yeah, I got family up in Interlochen and North Florida and Ocala and Gainesville and I've been all through there, Micanopy, and then he goes, no, and I said, he goes, it's right here in Melbourne. And I go, oh, cool. Well, that's about 3 hours closer to me. That's a lot easier.
He was ready to go 3 hours
and I was happy to do it. You guys are such a good guy. I was like, yeah, I'll totally do it.
Well, let me tell you, this was so fun. I love doing this because it's not just like, it's about introducing you to the world, but it's the fun behind it and the conversations that we go from it. And you just never know how these things will go.
We got to do a part 2.
We need to do that.
We got to do a part two because the energy that he and I get together, this is how it is.
It's incredible. Oh yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be talking about work or anything like that. It's just like when we get together, just like this, of energy.
You know what we could do? Let's do another one where we can give them tips. We can give them tips on how to set themselves up correctly, how to do that. And so what we're going to do part 2.
We'll do some with me and some with you.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
It sounds like a perfect plan right there.
That sounds awesome. Man, this guy's so good, man. I love this guy. This guy's awesome, man. He's also a Christian brother too. As you guys know, I'm a Christian as well, and it's how God works. It's how He connects people together.
Brings all his people together.
He really does, and
just maybe you just might rub off on someone, and they might help them out.
Exactly. You never know. You never know.
It's always
you never know who this can reach out to.
That's right.
You never know. Somebody might get saved from this. You never know. You just never know what happens. So, but it was great, and so if you guys want to reach out to Corey, say your number again if you don't mind.
772-205-8803, or my email is ctroup financial@gmail.com. And also you can find me, Corey Troup, COREYTROUP, on Facebook. Very easy to find on there. I've got the same old beat-up straw cowboy hat. And so I hope I hear from you, because it'll be my privilege to meet your excellent personage.
Amen to that. That's awesome. Well, folks, thank you again for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
Bye-bye now.